there, still in DR. I missed my flight last night. I just got off the phone with Spirit. I'm waiting on them to call me back. It's $100 reschedule fee. Basically, I need a cash app, guys. I need a cash app to try to get this fee together, man. I'm so sick right now. I'm sick as hell. I've been trying to call Kayla because I know she's like in the area. So I'm trying to call her to like set something up to where I can get like some actual money because I'm hungry. I have very little bread left. I maybe got like $15.
Y'all surprised to see us this early in the week, huh? Okay. Hi, Chris. Hi, Shahidah. How's my babies?
Hi, girls.
We are doing well. Grand.
Hey, that's all it can be. So, when we started this podcast, we wanted to bring a bunch of different topics to the table, and we talk about the Married at First Sight, and we're going to continue to talk about that along with some, maybe throw in a couple of other reality shows on Friday when we record. But we decided to come at you and record on a Tuesday. So you're going to get 2 podcasts each week. And Fridays, we're going to talk about our reality TV stuff, keep y'all abreast of what's going on in Married at First Sight and let y'all know what our thoughts are on that. And Tuesday, we recorded and we're going to just bring you a different topic. And we might as well just start with the topic at hand that has been blowing up the internet on TikTok specifically and YouTube is the passport bros. So, okay, white men have been doing this for decades, going to other countries and having sex tourism with women. And now the brothers are now jumping on board and getting their passports and going to countries like Thailand, Brazil, and Colombia because they want a submissive woman. And, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
They said, some of the videos that I've seen, because I've just been doing a lot of like diving into it, it's not just, it's mainly geared towards Black women, but they're just saying American women want too much and are too masculine. But their main focus is on Black American women.
Yeah. From Black men.
By Black men, yeah. So
I don't think it's
founder. Supposedly the founder is only this guy. His name, what is Alston Holton?
Mm-hmm.
His name, and he went through this interview, and I sent you the interview. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it.
I already saw it.
Basically, he didn't give a good reason of why he is going to Brazil. He moved to Brazil permanently to get away from, American women who he just could not find. Now, what blew me away is he's 23. And the interview was like, damn, you didn't give anybody a chance. It was like, no, I spent a couple of years trying to find a good woman, and I moved to Brazil because that's where, the women are more submissive. They have a better attitude. They're not as petty. Black women, he didn't say Black women. He just said American women. They want you to dine them 340 days out of the week and only give you a side hug. Who's he dating? But go ahead, guys. Who's he dating?
Most of these women who are 23 years old.
Probably.
These girls who are 23 years old that see on Instagram and all this stuff, you should get, this is what you should get, this is what you should have, this is how this should be for you. Everyone thinks that they're a star. Everyone thinks that they're better than everything. And these girls expect money, cash, prizes, all kinds of stuff. That's the new generation. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I give it to you on that one. My only thing is that I mean I've seen like tons and tons of videos, but it's like if a man asks you out on a date, I'm like, and a lot of the guys that I've seen that have been complaining the most about it is like guys that are like, they have this expectation. And I'm not saying it's this younger generation. I will give it that. But there's a lot of older men out there that I've seen videos to that kind of have the same mentality where it's like,
but they want younger women.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They want to take you out to dinner. Like, when did you taking me out to dinner lead to the expectation that I'm supposed to suck your dick or I'm supposed to let you come to my house and have sex with me? That makes no sense. The passport bro phenomenon confuses me to the point where, especially the guys that complain, because I've seen a lot of the complaints on the internet where they complain about, you know, I take her out and I buy her a nice dinner and then she just goes home. And I expect more from that. And I'm like, so rather than spend maybe 150, 200, depending on where you go for dinner, 200, let's just say 250 on dinner. You'd rather spend what? I've always had my passport, so I don't even know how much it costs to get a passport. So we'll just say like 200, 250. So you're going to spend 250 on a passport. Then you're going to spend
on the passport.
Well, I don't know how much a passport costs because I've had my passport forever.
Most people have their passport, so it's not a cost. The passport is not. That's just to travel in general. That's not.
No, but when you watch these videos, they are all basically are saying they have to get a passport.
Well, they need to have their passport regardless. I mean,
but they don't. A lot of them don't have a passport.
But I wouldn't put that as an expense to just for that. It's also you should have your passport in general just to have a passport.
The reason I think I would put that as an expense is because the majority of these videos do not travel around the world anyway. They're not leaving their city.
Right, so a one-time expense of $200, which not just gives you the access to these women, but also gives you access to travel. So right. I'll give you half of that.
Okay, fine. So then you got to pay for a plane ticket.
Okay.
To go to these other countries.
Okay.
Then you got to pay for your hotel.
Okay.
And then you got to pay for your food and all that while you're there. And then you're paying these women that are willing to meet with you. If you meet them online, that are willing to meet with you, you're paying these women for a good time.
Okay.
And I'm like, but you went through all that.
So you took a woman out on a date for $250, right? And then the next time you took her to a concert, which cost you, we'll say $100 a ticket plus expenses plus parking, this, that, and the other. We'll chalk that up to about $400. That's going to cost you that. We'll give you $350. I'll even give you $350 that night. So that's 2 dates.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third date, you go to do something else. You go see comedy with her. You're going to spend $150. So right now you're looking at $600-700 in 3 dates. Knowing that you're not going to get anything and may not that there's an expectation, but after 3 dates or 4 dates and you keep taking this person out, there are a lot of women, especially the younger generation. I'm just giving you the other side, whatever. There's a lot of women in the younger generation, and I've been not a victim of, but I've gone out with women they want just to have dinner. They just want to have someone take them out to dinner and have someone talk to them for a little bit and then never speak to them. A lot of women do that a lot of the time. So anyway, going back to the thing, if these dudes are spending $700-800 after 3 dates and women still like, no, well, I'm not really into you that way, or I'm this, that, and the other, as opposed to spending, the $200, you can get a cheap ticket for $500 to Brazil. It's really cheap for your hotel there. It's very inexpensive for food there. And you're looking at maybe $1,000-1,200 and you're in another country. And these women are willing to have sex with you at a certain point, but are really nice to you, really sweet to you. I remember when I went to Brazil with my family, and we were at a party, the family of the party, and this girl, one of the women was there. This was like 2017, no, 2007, 2008, like long time ago. And I remember going, and we were at a party and everything, and people were there, and the family. And this girl came up to, we were talking, and she was just looking at me like there was no games. She was she was a lawyer, no games, and she was looking at me, and I'm like looking, you're not even trying to do a game or anything like that. But she's like, she's like, I like you. You're really nice, and no pretenses, no. And I had never in America never felt a woman that was just like, hi, I like you. I don't really want anything from you. I just want to be, you just seem really nice in your company. And I was like, oh, like I don't have to do anything, take you someplace to make you like me or get to know you, that kind of stuff. We never went out, but I was like, I remember the feeling of going, oh, wow, she's just liking me for who I am. And when you get to, and I've dated foreign women before, where a lot of foreign women are not caught up on, well, you got to take me out to at least a nice dinner or this something. And a nice dinner in Brazil could be $30.
Yeah.
$40 that they would not have gone to before. And there's not a lot of pretense in women who don't have any money. And so they're taking advantage, the men are taking advantage of it to a certain extent, because these women don't get access to going to a nice restaurant or doing this and the other. And they're also like, well, I couldn't ever get to a place like this, and they have money. And women are like a lot of this, like Brazil are already kind of in a, like the men in Brazil, a lot of times I've heard are just assholes to them. They demand this, that, and the other, and don't have money in this, and they still have to be genteel to them. But these men come in from the States with all this money and shower them with gifts that are not that expensive to them, or just make them, and they feel like, oh my God, I would love to be, not of service, but I would love to be, whatever he wants to be, if he wants me to, I'll make him a plate, or I'll do something the other. So that's the appeal. That's why people, first of all, if there wasn't an appeal, and if there wasn't a reason for these guys to go, if it wasn't really working, or there wasn't really a difference, they would not be going. People are not going to spend, as you said, $200 for a passport and $500 for a flight and this and that. Just if it's not working and it's not worth their money, worth the money that they're spending, they wouldn't do it.
I don't know. I think people convince themselves, especially about American women, and especially about Black American women, they can have convinced themselves, these particular type of guys, that Black American women, or their dating pool is so harsh and disgusting, and they're dealing with women who are nothing but money grabbers, that they could go someplace like Brazil or Thailand or whatever and be caught up in the same game. Because I don't think any woman across the world wants to be poor or broke. And if they see an opportunity not to be poor or broke, they're going to take it. Like, this kid is 23 years old. He has no life experiences. And definitely no, but you know what? His life experience is that it's okay to downgrade Black women to upgrade another. And that's his platform. But he flew all the way to Brazil, decided to live there. And the Brazilian police, the Brazilian courts, and the Brazilian women and men got wind of his platform. He had to leave Brazil and go to Thailand because they were coming down on him. First of all, they were thinking, okay, this sounds like sexual trafficking, sexual tourism. He was not finding he was interviewing Brazilian women and asking them questions about like, would I have to buy you dinner? And nope, I don't have to. And he's like, dudes, come down here, making their women look easy.
Right.
And got into a lot of problems with that. And I think in their heads, these Black men are thinking that, one, they can come with a $30,000 or $40,000 a year job and live well any place else. Like this guy says, Austin, he says that he makes $50,000 a year. In Brazil, he's banking. And the guy asked him, well, what's one of the reasons why you didn't connect with any Black women? He must have got lost in train of thought, but he gave one reason. And he was just like, in America, I don't want to be called bro. He's like, I've had more women call me bro than, anything. In Brazil, women don't call me that.
So women here are not going to go out with someone who makes $50,000. If you make $50,000 and you're a hardworking man doing this,
that's not true.
Shahidah.
That's not
95% of the women who are probably making more than him in the first place, and say, "Well, what can you do for me? How can I elevate?"
There's a woman who's making the same amount as money. You can find somebody on your level of wages. But
they don't want that. They don't want the same. Right. They want some. Most women want someone who's going to be making more money than they are.
So they say, in America, but then you listen to other date shows too. I listen to Kendra. She be setting up people all the time. They're not looking, those women on there. They're not looking all the time for somebody making, so much money. Then there's a lot that say they make a certain amount of money and they're okay with somebody that makes less than them.
I don't. And also the same. You can say the same thing for men who are short.
That's a real thing.
5'5", 5'6". Yeah, women don't want to date someone. They will if they have to, but they don't want to date someone.
They end up dating somebody. I know a lot of short guys.
I know 90%. If you're 90% of the women that I know would not want to date a man who's 5'6", and if he's making $50,000 a year, either one or the other.
I mean.
I'm just trying to tell you the reasons why someone would want to look someplace else and feel like he's the man.
You can look somewhere else. I looked someplace else. I can go into my own dating history and say I looked for something else because I did not get this here in this community. But did you ever hear me say Black men ain't shit? I went over this side because Black men don't do this and they don't buy my dinners and they want to go 50-50. And then I could say a whole lot of dumb shit. And that's what it comes out to be, dumb shit. What worked for me may not work for the next person, but that doesn't mean you tear down a whole group of people to make yourself feel better about yourself. There's a level of insecurity that goes with somebody that says these women ain't shit. And then this guy's in the same breath, he talks about, Black women don't want to cook. I want somebody to cook for me. Then in the same exact breath, he says he is in Brazil and his $50,000 goes so well that he doesn't even want his woman to cook because they go out every single night. So what do you want, sir? Again, 23.
But she would cook if he asked her to.
I would fucking cook if you asked me to. I would cook in my.
But you two are different. You two are not the typical how typical women are in the States. Not these younger generation, 30s, 40s, younger the people who are 30. If you find a 28-year-old that's going to want to cook for you, that's going to want to take care of you, and it's not going to call you broke. And if you're I'm not, him disparaging, but his
bro, it was bro, not broke. He didn't want her to call him bro.
But
I thought you were calling him bro.
Him disparaging Black women is it's inexcusable. You should not ever do that at all.
Yeah.
So him even saying that, I understand why you would be upset over that part, but I'm just trying to tell you what the reasons why they would want to do that. Now, him talking shit about Black women is some bullshit. It's in book, and it's maybe his experience, but he should not be bringing that into. But he's saying the difference between he probably couldn't get a fine ass 28-year-old woman here to give him the same respect that he feels, the same respect that he could in Brazil. And that's why, because he's not going to get a badass 28-year-old Instagram model, this and the, who's going to cook for him, who's going to clean for him, who's going to take care of him. He can't get that in the States. That's why he's going to some foreign place. Now, whether his reasons are for disparaging black women, that's some bullshit. But that's the reason why he's going there, because he wants to feel like, well, I can just be a man and feel like a man that he can take care of things and not have to floss, and without a woman being like, oh, well, you're taking me to Sizzler, like, oh no, we're going to Crustacean, or
What's
we're
the
going to so and
definition
so.
of a man? Because I feel like that is lost. The
Thank you.
definition of a man, because the black women I know don't ask for a lot like you think they do, but they are asking for some type of security.
And they don't. $50,000 is not security,
right? And you don't feel secure when people like him, put you down constantly. So when you ask for something, they can turn up their nose and be like, oh, she's just a gold digger, but she's asking for the absolute basics most of the time.
A basics is going and taking someone to a meal that's not going to be most women, I'm not saying all, but most women want something that they can't do for them a lot of times, that they can either have the equal or better than themselves. Because if they're making more money, they would like to have someone who's making just as much or more, that can take them out or more. Now, if they have a child, it also goes down to the paradigm of, if you're going to start a family, that they don't have to work anymore or have the option of not working anymore. So having a man make more money and taking care of them to a certain extent.
But are they thinking in those terms? Because I go back to their definition of manhood. And usually when you talk about, oh, give me that chance to be a man, then most of those people are like my father. A woman doesn't have to work. My father takes care of every single thing that, as far as like money pertains to that house. My father is buying my mother her brand new car and paying for the insurance and everything. And my mother does do some traditional things, but she does work outside the house a couple of days a week because that's what she wants to do. But my father is a traditional man in terms of at the head.
That's an anomaly, though. That's an anomaly.
But then he's not insecure in himself, where he does the grocery shopping. He does cook, he does
That's
clean.
a different generation. It's a different generation.
Exactly. So the definition of a man, these boys, this 23-year-old, he just wants to be able to lay up and get what he wants without putting a lot on the table his damn self. He wants the table already dressed.
Not necessarily. He wants to be able to, whatever he has, even if he doesn't have enough, feel like he can still.
Have you listened to these men though?
No, I haven't listened to them. I'm just telling you about. I'm just
disconnect is because you need to listen to what they're saying, because I get 100% what you're saying, but there is a total lack of maturity level on these. Like the guy who just went to the DR to be with some woman, and he was talking all this shit about black women, got stuck in DR and doesn't have $100 to pay Spirit to get home, and was asking. That's what I'm saying. I think there's a disconnect, because I get every point you're saying, but when you watch these videos and you see these level of boys, because I haven't seen any grown men. The only grown men I've seen in any of these videos are looking at them and pointing them and say, you need to grow yourself, brother. And I've seen a couple of videos where black men are coming in and they're coming down hard on them because they sound like incels.
Girl, you hit that one on the head there with the incel. It's giving incel, and I've just termed incelrectionists. Okay, look, all I'm gonna say is this: I don't care what you do. I get it that, you know, some of these younger guys are just a little bit disheveled or a little bit, you know, despondent as far as like, you know, they don't want to deal with this type of woman or this type of woman, whatever, they're going to go over to other countries. I don't care what you do. I don't care how you do it. Just leave us out of it. What bothers me the most about this is when these guys get online and they're like, fellas, we're going to Brazil, or we're going to DR, or we're going to Colombia, or we're going to Thailand, or what have you, because like we're going to go meet these women. Some guys like Asian women, some guys like Latino women, some guys like Colombian women. It is what it is. Whatever you like is what you like, but don't follow it up with because Black women ain't shit. Black women are mouthy. Black women have attitudes. Black women ain't giving us all that, because it's not all of us, yo. Like, I'm right here. And obviously, we come from a certain generation. We're not in our 20s anymore. But at the age that I'm at, it's like, I just want to feel safe, basically.
Would you date someone who made $50,000 a year?
Of course. I did date someone who made $49,000
How long
a year.
ago was that?
This was probably 7 years ago.
That's 7 years ago.
But wait a minute. Wait, let me stop you. I met him. He was, you know, we had mutual friends and we got on well. I knew his background. He knew my background. For me, it was a personality thing. And it was, you know, he made me feel safe at the time. We dated. It was him. It was never me saying like, oh, and I love to cook. Anybody that knows me, y'all know me. Anybody that knows me knows that I would much rather prepare a meal at home than go to a restaurant. For me, going to a restaurant is like, you know, we're going to a girls' brunch, or it's my birthday, or it's a special occasion. If I'm on vacation, if I come out to LA and I'm like, oh, let's go out and have lunch or dinner, whatever. That's one thing. Otherwise, I'd rather just cook. But it's like for that relationship, I was here working from home. He'd go to work, come home, meal, wash clothes, did all that. That was on him showing his whole ass. And I was like, you know what?
Was he upset that he made more money? Is that why the relationship broke? Or
no, the relationship broke because we were out one night with a group of friends. Well, more so his friends. And he started showing his ass. Well, full disclosure, I'm 10 years older than him. So for me, I was like, you know, this whole staying out till 2 a.m., 3 a.m. shit, I'm over that shit. Like, I don't want to do that. It's all great every once in a while, but not every fucking week. And it was like, he got an attitude and he showed his ass. And what you ain't going to do is come into my house and show your ass. And I was like, if you don't like it, there's the door. Get your shit and you get out.
I think another big difference is that now everyone has a platform to fucking, you know, tell their story and to disparage people and to show out and talk about them like we are now and be so provocative about stuff that they overhype it as well, because this shit has been going on, going to foreign places to find women long before Instagram and people have been talking about it.
But you know what the difference is? You know what the huge difference is? Is like you said, white men, Chinese men, Mexican men, Italian, Irish, European men don't come on and say, I'm going to this foreign country because white women ain't shit.
Yeah.
Who do you think started it? The white men started this shit.
But I don't see their
in Thailand, huh?
Do they have a bunch of YouTubes disparaging white women?
But that's my point. It's now that people have they want to be these dudes want to be, these black dudes at least want to be provocative, and I don't know why they would be tearing down people, you know, women, this, that, and the other.
Because
but
it's okay.
White dudes have been doing this shit for years.
That's what,
because,
and that's our point. We don't care that it's being done. Go ahead and find that person. The biggest part is, again, here we are as Black women having to say, okay, great. I'm glad you found somebody, but why do you have to tear us down all the time? And that whole big business about, women not, most Black women's love language has to do with food, whether they cooking it or they going out to eat or whatever. But a lot of their love language has to do with food. I'm not a cooker, so
older,
it's not mine.
I think older. I think this is a younger generational problem.
I know, but I see. I mean, okay, I'm going from my daughter and her friends, and I see them.
True.
And I'm judging them, and I don't see a huge difference. The biggest difference I see is that them motherfuckers are gonna pack up their bags and go anywhere in the world much faster than my generation,
right,
or my group of friends did. And they're making more time for like girlfriend relations, that building that more so. But then they're all getting married too. So it's like, I see it, and then, but I also like, and before I go in about like these bros, I see a lot of very good Black men under 35 who are just into Black. So I know there's like this big tunnel vision thing going on with some of them, but we have been hearing this same message for decades on decades. That we are not the prize.
Yeah, but back to the white man, when Chris brought up, this has been going on for decades. Absolutely right. And the majority of these white men are more than likely married. Like, they have whole families back here in the States, and they are just quietly doing their man trips or business trips to other countries. And they're just going in, getting with these women for a couple of days, 7 days, or however long they're there. And then they quietly come home. They're not putting their business in the street. I think, like Shahidah, and me and you have talked about this for a couple of times. It's like, do what you got to do, but stop dogging us. Like saying like, the only reason why I'm doing this is because, Black women ain't shit. That's stupidity.
What is the masculine woman that I hear all the time? Because I feel like the definition has changed over generations. Like, I hear it a lot more now than I did when I was younger, that Black women are more masculine.
Well, because it's a thing. Yeah, I've seen it where you've seen like women like, and I've even said it a time or two. I'm not even going to exempt myself on this. I've said it. Why do I need anybody? Like, I got a great job. I make
Does that make you more
decent income?
Does that
for some men, yeah, because
more masculine.
Yeah,
in terms of, there was a delineation back in the 50s or early time where the man did this and the woman did this, and there was a kind of a symbiotic relationship where the man brought home the money and the woman stayed home. And now that the woman can do anything, and a man does not feel needed anymore. He's not needed. He really is not needed. Women they got the roles, they can take care of themselves sexually. They can have their own baby if they want to. They have more. They're already making more money than them. They're more educated. They have everything that they would want, and they don't need a man. So they don't make a man feel needed.
Right.
These women, a lot of times in these foreign countries, make them feel like, you're a man, I need you. Not just financially, but I need you. I need you. And as I said, it's not a woman's fault if you don't need him. But there has to be some sort of, a man is left out here going, well, shit, what good am I? What the fuck am I going to do? She don't fucking need me. And she says, you know what? I don't fucking need you. So go on and do your all fucking, that's the attitude that, and as I said, rightly so, because women don't fucking need men. But men don't feel that, well, I want to feel needed. I want to feel, look, no, I can get it myself. A lot of people with opening I can get I can get the door myself.
Oh no.
I understand. But there are people that are like that, where they're like, they don't, and it's lost in the generation, but a man needs to feel that he's needed in some way, not just sexually. They're like, oh, I would love to have a man make love to me, but if I don't have it, I got my rose, I got my thing, I can do whatever I want. I really don't need. So a man feels like, well, what the fuck am I here for? Unless I have money, unless I have more money than you, then I'm going to feel needed. Then I'm going to feel this thing, but not nicer, not, sweeter, oh, that's nice. A lot of times that does not translate for a man. And in these other countries, they make them feel like kings.
But what about those of us?
What it is.
Yeah, but what about those of us that, yeah, we have gotten educated. We have gotten good jobs. We just, basically took care of ourselves. And we're not out there. That's like, I'm like, stop lumping us all in this, because I know that there are women out there that are like, you can't do nothing for me. I got this, I got that. You ain't shit, whatever. But I'm like, stop. Because I have met a lot of men and it's like, they're like, oh, well, what do you do for a living? When I tell them, you own your own home? Yeah. And they just immediately back off. Like, am I supposed to just lie at this point and say no? Because I'm like, there's like a whole different, it's like, yo, that's on you. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just a regular old woman living in my house. I don't live in a mansion. I'm just a middle-class woman. If I met a gazillionaire tomorrow through a friend or just in the street and he was doing the most, I'm going to treat him the same way. And I'm not going to be intimidated by him because at the end of the day,
I don't think we should talk about you and Shahidah are a different type. You are a different type of woman in terms of you're mature, you know what you are, this and the other. A lot of women who are younger that I've seen in dating wise in the past, I'll say, 5-7 years, whatever, that I've seen how, and also if you look on Instagram and you look on any of the social media platforms, just because a woman has everything, it's not her fault that she has everything. It's not, it really, as I said, it's not her fault, but it's intimidating to some men, a lot of men, it's intimidating to them because when the woman says, well, I don't need you for that. I don't need you for that. I just want your company. And the man is feeling like, well, what do you like, oh, I can cook for you. You guys would do that. Or, Shahidah, you wouldn't, you just buy some, no, but being not of service, but making them feel like, oh, wow. And having no shame in making a plate for someone. Right. And a lot of women are like, make your own fucking plate. We're equals. I don't need to make a fucking plate. I'm like, well, we're equals there, but we're not equal anywhere else because you're superseding me in education, in money, in having a home, all that kind of stuff. So a man feels like, well, fuck, I just want to feel. I'm just saying I just want to feel like I'm the man in the relationship or to a certain extent. But a lot of women are like, I don't really, just not even saying it, just being it. I don't really need you. What more can you give me than how can you add to my life? Because if you can't add to my life, and I understand that with women, if you can't add to a woman's life, they don't want you. I don't blame them. I don't blame them if they don't want you. But what can you do to make yourself feel like, okay, well, if I don't have any money with her. Mm-hmm. Well, and then I'm saying that's the mindset of, and you see it on Instagram. They want the Fendi bags. They want, they want this, they want that. They want to be taken care of.
But just like that is,
and the disillusion also, like Kevin, what's his name?
Part is as well, because there are women who don't need any of that and who do want that. But
they don't.
But maybe they're not advertising on Instagram like you see the ones advertising, because those women right there on Instagram who are really doing that, they're usually hustling anyway. So
yeah.
They're
even the men who are being this way are not going across to another country because they're getting women here the way they need to. So these are like the offshoots of the people who are like, oh, well, I can't get anything here. Let me go to a foreign country. Because the men who are getting have more money, have their house, they're not out here disparaging black women, and
they have it already here. And that's another point of these passport bros. They don't have much of anything, like the guy being trapped over in the DR, trying to get people to cash app him, his followers, so he can get $100.
It's ridiculous.
And on top of it, I'm not going to play the video. I have it saved, but I'm not going to play it. I'll put it on our Instagram and TikTok. But on top of that, like, I watched that video like 10 times, and he's literally begging. And of course, you know me, I'm like, ding, when he's like, Spirit Airlines, and I'm like, there's your first mistake, bro. You don't want to be called bruh, but I'm gonna call you bruh right now because you deserve that. You flew Spirit, so you ain't got no money. And then he's like, he called the women. See, let's not get this shit twisted. These women in these other countries aren't that dumb. They're gonna use you. I mean, they might put out, but they gonna get what they want from you, and then they're gonna move on. He's like, I even called my girls that I was here hanging out with, and they're not answering their phone. So, bro, you just got ghosted, and now you're stuck in the DR because you
went there, spent all that money.
Huh?
He went there, spent all that money that he didn't want to spend in the States.
Right.
Whatever was going on the night before, that he missed a whole flight, because I know if I don't have any money in the bank, I'm going to be at the airport 5 hours early.
Yeah, but
I'll be at the airport the night before.
Sounds stupid in general.
But that's the thing.
Yes,
and that's why I feel like the disconnect is, Chris, because you haven't watched these videos. And the point of this discussion is basically how they don't really have anything.
But it's a pattern.
These countries, and they're trying to live up this hype, but then they're turning around and saying, oh, well, black women don't have shit. Well, I'm not going to the DR getting stranded.
I ain't going nowhere and getting stranded. And here's the thing. It's a pattern. If you look at the videos on TikTok, the majority of them are on TikTok. If you look at the videos, you look at the just look at the quality of the people that are doing this. And they're always focusing on, I don't care how much you make a year, because at the end of the day, it doesn't affect my life. But it's like, why are you getting online and just spewing out there? I make $45,000 a year. With $50,000 a year, you can get out here and live the dopest life ever. Okay.
But you can pick someplace in the United States, and if you're making $50,000 a year, you're doing pretty damn well. You take that to any of them southern states, those middle states. That's good money too there. So you can't find anybody at church. It always goes back.
Stupid, though.
And this is to your point, Chris. It always stuns me, especially when it's black men. They date the same person, and then at the end of that relationship, say, these are gold diggers, these people want something, but you're consistently dating the same type of person. I understand that's your ideal, the way they look, the way they dress, their friends, or whatever life that you feel you might get from them. But if you, in the end, you're not whole after that person leaves or whatever, try another pool of women, because there's a ghetto pool, there's a not so ghetto pool, there's a middle class pool, there's a super bougie pool, there's your Instagram pool, there's the 9-to-5 working pool. There's a lot of pools in America you can dip into.
Like you said, it's them. It's you as a person. You need to look within yourself, because anybody that disparages other people because of how they choose to date, or how they choose to look for a mate or whatever. It's asinine at this point.
Deal with your own insecurities first.
Right. Deal with it. Or do, you know, like I just don't date anymore. It has nothing to do with a certain type of man or whatever. I'm just done with the chaos in my life. I'm over it. So I'm at a certain age in my life. Like, I'm over it.
There are all kind of pools for you too.
That's right.
Try another pool.
And if I change my mind and decided to get back into this dating game, I'm just going to put myself out there. Like it doesn't matter if you make $100,000 as opposed to $50,000 as opposed to, you know, $1 trillion or what have you. I will say this though. I can't be, you know, I'm a little too long in the tooth. The only issue I have is the debt thing. Like you can't be underwater in debt.
No, that's reasonable for anybody.
I mean, for me, that's my only thing. Like, you look, if we're trying to build a life together, you can't be in the hole for like $1 million worth of debt. Like, I'll be like, come on, bro, we about to die.
Most people are in debt in the United States.
I know. I mean, it's a daily thing where you know, you look at the credit card debt and everything. A lot of people are in hardcore debt
because they live way above their means, and a lot of it is chasing these Instagram dreams and bodies and all this. And but again, it comes down to, for me, I think I get what you're saying, Chris, and it's a very good point about the being needed. You know.
Yep.
And I have a, or even showing a level of sensitivity and I don't want to say femininity because I don't think that's the same thing. But I know that, an example, when I was going through my divorce and my ex-husband cheated on me, and the judge was talking to us, one of the things he said is she never said anything, you know, made a big deal out of it, and never really went through how hurt I was, or you didn't show a lot of emotion because, you know, I'm younger, but also, and I'm still this way, you know, something that I work on consistently, where when you say, Chris, you know, she's like, fuck you, I don't need you. I know I have that attitude. You know, I know I have that attitude. So I really try to so one thing that taught me during the divorce, and I felt that he was hurt, that I wasn't hurt, and it just made the whole situation worse than what it was. So one thing I try and do in my relations going forward, even though I know I have that attitude, I'll check myself and be like, I'm always going to tell you how I feel. I might not show it 100%, but I'm going to tell you how I feel so that when you fuck up, you can't say, well,
you don't know how I feel. Right.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I know that's something that I have. So I get what you're saying about when he says, you know, I don't feel like I'm needed, you know, because everything is equal. And it is upon us. It's upon both people in the relationship to make the other person feel like, because that's not a good feeling for a woman either, when she doesn't feel that she's needed or just used for sex, and then you pump and dump and go on about your bit. That's not a good feeling either. So there's an emotional connection that needs to be had from the man and the woman. So I get exactly what you're saying. And I do believe that a lot of us do have that attitude, and we're kind of taught that, especially as Black girls, to be stronger than what we probably need to be, whereas we should be able to kind of like pull back. But I do see that
as I said, there's nothing wrong with being, I mean, to me, a Black woman is the strongest human on the planet, because not only has to endure you know, being a minority and a racism, and then being a woman, has been the backbone of America, has been the backbone of really the world in general, and always had to have done twice as much work for half the amount of stuff. So and now that you have come up into, Black women have come into their own with running the country, you know, doing things, being on the Supreme Court, all kudos should go to that. But I wish there was some sort of that men could feel need that men can feel needed. That's all. I mean, I know
that's what I was getting to. Is like I get that what you're saying, but also I feel like when I say that women want the basics, Black women want the basics. They
deserve the basics too,
right?
More than that,
they want to feel that safety that you are their ride or die. We've been your ride or die
all day.
We felt that Black men are our ride and die. So we need that safety and security, because I think probably because the narrative is all out here over the internet that we're not. Then of course we have to develop a shield. I don't know where it started, where we started hating each other or, disparaging each other or whatever. But I know that I remember Black men going on Oprah Winfrey in the 1980s. And I'm like in high school and listen to why they said that they didn't like, and that fucking hurt me then. So I get that we have to get to a point, but this guy here is 23 years old. And he has got it ingrained in his head.
Brain is not even fully formed yet.
Exactly. So why are grown men like 55 and 45 following this kid?
Well, I think it's a systemic thing, honestly. I mean, for decades and centuries, this has been out there where they have been trying to divide the Black family.
But we let
you don't see it in you don't see it with any other race.
I mean, I get it, but at the end of the day, we are aware, and it's not an excuse anymore. I don't feel like it should be an excuse anymore, because we are aware. We see what's happening. We know what's happening, but yet some people, and this kid is 23, and he has 10,000 followers. In this FB group that's private, so you can't just go in there. But he has these 10,000 followers, and maybe it wasn't his intent to make it viral against Black women, but it was the men coming in making the comments that really, he's like, "Woo, this is how I get an audience, by talking about Black women." But I mean,
you're right. It's the men coming in making the comments, and then now you've got the other men coming in and making whole ass TikTok videos about it. Like, I'm doing this because of this.
But I'm glad that there are a lot of Black men doing videos defending Black women, defending, the American women here. So. And it's again, because like I said, I hadn't really heard of them. They weren't coming up on my feed. I heard you talking about it or whatever. And I feel like, the algorithms kind of work funny sometimes.
Yes.
But I mean, of course I've heard of it, but I really took a dive into them videos today, and I was just fucking stunned.
Yeah.
Also, with the Kevin, what's his name, who passed away?
Kevin Samuels. The guy
Kevin
that died.
Samuels, and the women the normal women he was talking to, or the everyday woman that he was talking to, where they were talking about, I want a man who's going to be this, that, and the other, and going to pay for me and this and the other, and she was,
I want a high quality man.
I want a high quality man. I think people are disillusioned, and a lot of times of who they are, or so even this guy is disillusioned, thinking that he's worthy of a woman, of a Black woman who can do those things for him. You know what I mean?
No,
but there's a lot of women who are disillusioned as well.
And 5 years.
No, I agree, because how I was raised was between my mother and my grandmother. It's like literally tattooed in my brain, where they always used to say to me, never expect something from someone that you can't get for yourself. Period. If a man wants to buy you a present, or if you expect it, don't tell him you want this or want that, because if you can't get it for yourself, don't expect it from anybody else. Man, woman, indifferent. That's how I was brought up. So it was like, for me, it's like, I don't know how these like how these people are out there, like these women and these men that are like, I want this, I want a high quality man, or I need a woman that has this, that, and this. But brother, you're still living in the basement of your mother's house, but you want to be treated you want to be treated like a real man, and you want your plate made, you want your clothes washed, you want your dinner made, you want to be treated like a protector, but you still living with your mama and sister and girlfriend, and it's same for the women. Whereas the women that are like, I want a high quality man, but you've got like 3 kids with 3 baby daddies,
but
working at Wendy's.
The difference is the man can go someplace and find that. A woman can't go someplace and really find that.
Not if she got 3 kids.
That's what I'm saying.
Nope.
But even if a man had 3 kids, or whatever, he can find that. That's the
Well, that's the difference, because the man that has 3 kids, 9 times out of 10, he ain't raising them kids, or them kids ain't in his house or his mama's house.
You know what's funny about the guy, Austin Holden, is that another TikToker did a dive into his family life. So he has 2 parents, and they live together. So he grew up with both his parents. They weren't married, but his mother seemed like she was like pimping men for money and gifts and stuff like that. And that's alleged. I mean, I just saw the YouTube, which I found very interesting, that his mother is living the lifestyle that he claims to be kind of running away for. And then he did a video where he was watching porn at like 11 years old.
Oh,
there's a lot going on with 23 bag.
I mean, well, 11 years old. Come on, Chris.
Nonsense.
What?
There's a platform to talk about this nonsense.
Yeah. It's interesting, but
it's very interesting. So, yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we were able to kind of just like put it out there and talk about it.
I was about ready to shoot Chris, but we good.
Oh, y'all was going there back and forth for a minute.
I'm just trying to get you
I liked it when I got the bulb about. That part really resonated because I get that. I really do get that, and it's something that I think both man and woman have to work on. Really opening up and expressing, especially black couples. That's something that we have to do, because we really have to fill this void where we're fighting each other. It absolutely makes no sense.
It's got to stop. It's 2023. Jesus Christ. It's like
still having the same argument.
We're still having the same arguments, and still the same shit from when our parents were coming up. It's like this the same shit. It's ridiculous.
To listen to my parents and see like my uncles like in the 70s, I wonder if they really had these conversations. Because remember, they didn't have the internet as much. And honestly, I didn't start hearing about this until like talk shows. Like Oprah Winfrey was the first time I really made that connection. So it's like as TV changed, and then as the internet got brought all into it, that's when it just really just blew up. Because I'm thinking about like how life was like in the 70s, everybody was like so pro-black in Boston anyway. I don't know about any place else. And there was a sense of black community at that point. So I wonder if they had those kind of conversations. I know they didn't care for their athletes and superstars marrying white women. I know they didn't like that. So the regular guys like my uncles, no, they wasn't into talking down to black women. They really
It
also gets them clicks to have people talking about it.
Yeah,
that is true.
Being provocative and controversial.
But I get it. Some people, the people that started, more than likely they're kind of, like I'm saying, he might not have started it with that intent, but then people came in who had real life grievances because they were insecure, came in and could have changed his whole platform.
Yeah. It's a good conversation. I mean, it's something that, not only this topic, but a host of other topics that, could be spoken about that can kind of change the narrative. And
I mean, I'm glad we're going to be talking about like relationships as you get older, because I got to explore some things.
Girl, we're going to talk about some other stuff. Anyway,
about things.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's good. I mean, I just want to talk about different topics, and we're still gonna bring, the Married at First Sight on the table, and Love is Blind and some other reality shows. But I definitely want to like kind of talk, bring some realness to the table and just talk about what folks is out there talking about, and that's why I wanted to bring up the Passport Bros, because that has been what has been blowing up.
That forever. I'm sorry I took that dive.
Yeah, I mean, I took that dive a while ago when I first brought it up to you, Shahidah, and I was like, I clicked the somebody's video on TikTok, and then after that, the algorithm. I tell you what, we got to talk about them algorithms. We'll talk about that another time. But that algorithm got me, and every time I was like, swipe, it was every second video was a Passport Bros video. And I was like, what the hell? It's crazy. These algorithms, oh Lord, these algorithms crazy.
All right, people. See you.
All right, well, listen, we'll see you guys on Friday. So thanks. And hopefully you guys like the content that we talk about. And, those of you that comment on YouTube, let us know what you guys want to talk about. And, we'll talk about it. Anyway, we'll see y'all next time.